How many guys do I think deserve a signature shoe? Maybe it's not that many, man. Just 5, 6 maybe. You know, we all know the top of the top. We all know who those players are.
My name's Rashad Williams. I'm the Senior Director for Adidas Basketball Footwear, and this is the Harden Volume 4. The story this shoe tells is a perfect blend between innovation and fashion, which equals James Harden.
Beat the buzzer. James Harden put him in the popcorn
Harden in the paint.
Creating a shoe is a long process.
It's a 2-year process.
The reason why is we need to get all the insights from the athlete. We look at data from James's entire career. Some of the data has shown James is actually one of the fastest players in the NBA. So his top speed is around 19.2 miles an hour on the floor. James, I think this year is second in the league in minutes played. Puts up over 1,000 shot attempts throughout the season. So we look at all those little nuances in James's game and make sure that his footwear really can enhance his performance on the court.
You would never think this process takes that long. It's just like, okay, this is what it looks like, this is the color I want, boom, let's do it in 2 weeks. Like, nah, you have to sit back and make sure that it's able to perform in the way it needs to.
The new technologies on the shoe, we can start from the bottom up. It starts with light strike foam. James always says he wants to lead with innovation, and light strike foam is our newest innovation within the brand. The unique thing about light strike foam is it's roughly over 40% lighter than any traditional EVA, but it still gives you the right responsiveness and cushioning of some of the top EVAs in the industry. We've been working on the foam for over 5 years. Volume 4 is actually the lightest Harden to date due to light strike. In the past, James has been mainly on boost. Now switching him over to light strike. The main insight around that was James is logging a lot of minutes. And so he has a lot of wear and tear. And so we want to give him the best advantage to be able to perform at a high level throughout the entire season. So making him lighter naturally does that. There's a new lacing system. So that's what you will see here on the medial and lateral side. If you look at some of the designs and some of the original sketches, that was one area we were playing at. So from something that looks like this to something maybe a little bit more traditional, to looking at, hey, where do we bring more support up around the forefoot area and not the vamp around lacing. James really wanted to have a lacing system that can tailor kind of to everyone's game, multiple holes or eyelets in order to lace the shoe, the way you wanted it. It gives you different support depending on your style of play. So James is huge on stopping and starting. So lockdown is key, and so that's where we really focused here in the midfoot area for James to make sure that he doesn't have a lot of toe jam, that his toes don't hurt when he stops quickly and takes that pull-up jumper. And then lastly, this kind of heel clip. So right on the heel, we have this TPU piece, which is a heel clip that really snugs the back of your heel and locks you down and locks you in. And it also is a great kind of showpiece as well for the shoe. And that gives the best stability that you need. Once your heel is locked in, you can make all the moves that James loves to do throughout the season.
The most important thing for me is making sure that it can stay up with me, like make sure it's durable, making sure that when I'm doing my step backs and Euro steps and crossovers and all that good stuff, that the shoe feels like it's still on my feet and it's basically going wherever I go. Other than probably last year, I've been playing in low tops basically my entire career. I feel like high tops are a little bit more bulkier unless we find other ways to limit the space and limit the weight on them, but the grip is one of the most important things. As I'm doing all my moves and all that good stuff on the court, you got to be able to have a shoe that has grips and able to hold up the power that I have when I'm making those moves. So the front of the shoe, we have this little cover on it because your foot tends to creep over the bottom of your foot. So this is kind of to hold that force up to when I'm making my moves, my toes and my foot stay balanced.
Traveling is controversial.
You talking about on an airplane?
No. Traveling is like taking 3 steps.
Like with the basketball?
Yeah.
Huh.
I'm saying, so, you've been like redefining what it means to travel and step back.
That's not traveling. Like, honestly, all right, look. How many times over the course of, this is like 3 or 4 years, have I got called for traveling? It's not many, like maybe 2 or 3, maybe like over the course of a few years. So where did this traveling come from? I really want to know. Like, because it looks awkward, because it doesn't look normal. You know, traveling is when you take 3 steps with the basketball. Well, if you don't have the basketball in your hands, you can take as many steps as you want, as long as the ball is just bouncing. We're talking about the game of basketball and me, changing the game and creating my own path in my own way. This is a form of basketball that works at a high level, and it's a new generation and a new wave. Like, it should be taught that way. And when this time is up and when I'm all said and done, it's like, yo, he really changed the game. Like, in the basketball world, in the shoe world, like, everything. Like, he just didn't make a basketball shoe that, all right, you go out there, do a couple drills, and then play basketball. All right, what next color? Every shoe is like, all right, well, damn, that was creative. It's still like, oh, I remember that shoe. Or, damn, that move on the court, that was crazy. Like, I remember, and that just gonna last forever.
The design always starts with the consumer, and then also just making sure that you're staying true to what's going on in basketball. James is really close to that, and so we start with him. We start with the consumer, and we really try to make something that kids like and that can be showcased on the NBA floor.
I ain't gonna lie, there's a lot of dudes in the NBA that got swag or can dress. They don't got no game. So, what? You trying to sell fashion shoes or you trying to sell basketball shoes? Like, so you gotta be able to have game, you gotta be able to hoop every single night, night in and night out, and then obviously the fashion and other stuff comes. Like, it can't be the other way around. There's a lot of guys that can dress nice and got all the swag, whatever, but they can't hoop.
So these are the legit and actual writings that we had with James. The design process we go through with James. As we go through and we take that main performance and innovation insight, and then once the process starts and the design team starts to design, what works well with him is if you can give him some visuals. I think we did 60, 70 designs, and we literally laid them out on the table like we have now, and we had James go through and pick things.
I made it a point from my volume 1 to be involved in every process.
James is involved heavily.
A lot of guys, a lot of other brands, a lot of players they just thrown onto a shoe like, here you go, take this shoe, this is your next shoe. But they give me an opportunity to, be involved, fully involved in it.
What's your favorite thing about the shoe?
Just the details, like, the 106th Street is where I was outside as a little kid playing basketball on the street. Then Hacienda, my dorm room when I was a freshman, when I was 17 years old going to college.
We like to bring stories that are really tell James's life, give the consumer a sneak peek into it. So for example, like this colorway, we're calling it Pink Lemonade. It's one of James's favorite drinks, especially in the summertime. Candy paint, little nod to Houston and their affinity for candy paint on their cars. Cookies and Cream is inspired by his favorite ice cream. He continually wants to have great placement of his logo. So yeah, we're gonna put the logo on the back, so when he leaves you in the dust, that's what you see. You see James Harden when he's going to the rack.
I think every athlete has their own confidence, what drives them, what motivates them, what gets them going. A handful of guys that have their own signature shoe feels like a different confidence. Like, I got my shoe on, like you have no chance to guard me. You don't have no chance to beat me, It's just a different confidence, a different swag you have on the court.
It was this shoe. We were going through and looking at the designs, and James was like, yeah. And then we're all kind of sitting there in silence, and he just screams, like, hell yeah, we got this done.
4 turned out dope. You hear the kids, oh, I want to get this shoe, or this shoe drops on Friday. I was one of those kids.
Every basketball player growing up, whether you're a little guy, just playing in your driveway, you always hope to make it to the NBA and have your own sneaker. And this is definitely an elite class once you get into the signature world.
I used to sell candy in middle school. Me and one of my best friends, we used to just go to Smart and Final, rack up a whole bunch of candy and trying to just flip it, every single day. And that was our hustle, every single day, and that's how we, had money to get the kicks that we wanted. These last few years I've been watching kids and seeing them hoop in my shoes and just walking around my shoes. Like, that right there, just it's a different feeling. I was that kid and I was having the Kobe's on and the T-Max on and all those great players that paved the way for me. But a young kid wearing my shoe is it's a dope feeling. It just inspired me to keep going, to keep being the best basketball player, the best leader, the best person that I can be. I'll keep inspiring as long as these youth and the kids keep inspiring me.